Good evening. This hearing of the Watertown Licensing Board is in session. It is Thursday, December 17, 2020, 7:15 p.m., 7:17 technically. I'm Donna Doucette and I will be presiding over the hearing this evening. Assisting me are board members Sandra Kasabian-Hoffman and John Labadini. Oh dear, is John here? Am I starting without him?
Yeah, I don't see him.
Uh-oh.
The link that's noted on the agenda is not the most current one, I don't believe. I don't know if
It is not.
someone said
Ju-
that to.
Julie, do you have his phone number? Could you give him a call?
I do not, but I sent yesterday the agenda with the correct one with all of your documents for the hearing. Everybody.
You sent it yesterday because I got it today.
Yep, yesterday. I wasn't in work today. Sent it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope he got it. Mine was delayed, obviously.
And I sent it last week when we got the email.
I saw that. In fact, that's actually where I found it.
Yeah,
This
I sent
last
it
week.
twice.
Right, the meeting ID that's on the printed agenda is different from the one I think we're using tonight.
It is, yes.
Mhm.
There's John. Okay, we're all here.
Yeah,
All right.
I had an old link.
Let's see if we can start again. Good evening,
here.
everyone. I'm Donna Doucette. I will be presiding over the hearing this evening. Assisting me are board members Sandra Kasabian-Hoffman and John Labadini, and alternate member Jimmy Sarikas, or Sakrikas, I'll pronounce it right very soon. Assisting us are Attorney David Dineski, Watertown Police Sergeant Thomas Grady, and Licensing Board Clerk Julie Casello. Per the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law to avoid group congregations, this meeting is being held via remote online technology. As posted by the town on the agenda publicized for this meeting, there are 4 ways to participate: by simply observing via cable TV, by joining this meeting online or by telephone, and prior to this hearing, by sending a written comment to be read at the appropriate time during the hearing. Please note that as with other in-person meetings, public comments and applicant presentations are limited to specified times during the hearing. At those times, in order to comment, simply click the raise your hand icon or wave your hand, and our meeting monitor will unmute each person as I recognize them. The first item for the agenda tonight is the approval of the November minutes. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman and Mr. Labadini, do you have any corrections or changes to the minutes from November 15, I think it was?
I do not.
Mr. Labadini?
Nor do I. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We were still fumbling. The minutes are approved as written. Ms. Casello, would you please make sure that the electronic signature is affixed to the various minutes, because it may be some time before I get in to personally sign them.
Yes.
Special licenses before us this evening. We have a request from the Arsenal Yards, 130 Arsenal Yards Boulevard, for one-day entertainment licenses for Monday through Sunday evenings, December 24 through March 1. We have in hand the plot plans, the description of the outfit, the methods for advertising and selling tickets, and all of the other stipulations that are required for special one-day entertainment licenses. We also have reviewed an almost identical plan previous to this, because we approved the holding of these sessions through December 24. I see that Ms. Jessica Reed is with us this evening, and she will describe for us the addition or change that she wants to make from the previous plan. Ms. Reed.
Hi, everyone. So I have a really quick presentation. I know we went over a lot of it at the last meeting, but just talking about the extension, if I'm able to share my screen. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, great. So the program itself remains the same as we reviewed at last month's meeting, and I'm happy to go over any of those details and answer any of those questions. But today I was hoping to take a few minutes to talk about the new COVID-19 regulations, those implications, and also share some feedback and some photos of the series so far as we've been holding it for the last couple weeks. So first, going into the COVID-19 outdoor event guidelines. So as we discussed last month, this was created under phase 3, step 1 procedures. So with the new rollback, we didn't have to make any major changes. We were adhering to the under 50-person outdoor gathering limit. We're monitoring all entrance and exits. Everything is reservation based in advance. Face coverings are required. The one new stipulation is we did notify the health department with a outdoor event series over 25 people, but as to not exceed the 50 people. So we did notify them in advance. The other thing that I wanted to mention and acknowledge is that if at any point the COVID-19 regulations do move back to phase 2, we understand that we can no longer hold these outdoor events. We may try and use the fire pits strictly for takeout outdoor dining to continue to support the restaurants, but we fully understand that the entertainment program is tied to phase 3 and we would no longer be able to do it if we do roll back to phase 2 at any point.
Okay.
So everything has been going really well so far. We've had a few cancellations due to weather, but in general, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. We've gotten a few repeat guests coming back because they love the experience so much the first time. And in general, people have just been really appreciative of the opportunity to be outside, to enjoy some of their favorite takeout, and to enjoy some live music. The restaurants have also been really appreciative. I would say about 90% of the people who are coming are getting takeout, bringing takeout or grabbing takeout at some point before they leave from an Arsenal Yards restaurant. So I just wanted to go over the setup a little bit as we do have some photos. So the back half of the River Green is where our setup is. As you can see, we have 6 fire pits. Each fire pit is set up 12 to 15 feet apart from each other. So they're very well spaced within this area. We do have a lot of space in the back half of this area. Each fire pit sits up to 6 guests. It's all reservation based through Eventbrite. There is a small fee to reserve the fire pit, $5 to $10 for the entire month of December. All of the ticket proceeds went back to the Watertown Food Pantry. Moving forward, we'd also select another local Watertown organization to support moving forward with those ticket fees in the future months if allowed. So then on select nights with the entertainment license, we have been adding to the experience with live music. The distance between the closest fire pit and the performers is 15 feet. So in this photo, you can see the fire pit on the left-hand side, and to the right-hand side, there's a propane heater. To the right of that is where the performers are. So it's a 15 feet distance. And in this next photo, you can see another view showing the distance between. Most of the performances are single performers, and they have plenty of space within their footprint that we are providing to them to stay 15 feet away from any other reservation party and group. So if allowed, we'd like to continue the program through March 1st. We would look at doing select sessions between 12 and 8:30 p.m. on Mondays through Saturdays, and Sundays between 11 and 4. We haven't had any private groups yet, but it's been working really well with a live DJ on Thursday nights. Friday and Saturday, we have a live music act, and then Sunday during the day is more family focused, which has also been going very well. So in here I have some of the documents that I provided in the application, but I'm happy to go through those or answer any questions at this point.
Okay, Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you have any questions for Ms. Reed?
I have no questions, but I'll make a comment. I happened to walk by one evening when there was live entertainment, and it was really nice, and it was nice to see people sitting around the fire pits enjoying that. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that's happening. I have no questions though.
Mr. Labadini, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not. A nice presentation and no questions.
Are there any questions from the members of the public attending this hearing? I don't see anyone's hand waving, so let me move on to the recommendations. The building department has no comment. Fire department has no comment. Health department notes that the Arsenal Yards events must comply with COVID-19 outdoor event guidance, and must develop a plan to measure attendee capacity in keeping with the guidance as well as monitor the same. Zoning has no comment. Sergeant Grady, the police department recommendation. You have to unmute. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Subject to your approval, this department has no objection to the applicant's request for an entertainment license for holiday music extension to be held daily, Monday through Sunday, beginning on December 24th, 2020 through March 1st, 2021, from 11 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. select times. Provided the following restrictions are adhered to, the activity shall be restricted to the property of the Arsenal Yards. Adequate adult supervision shall be maintained at all times. All patrons shall not create unreasonable conduct and/or excessive noise. Any music shall be kept at a reasonable and an unobtrusive level at all times. No alcoholic beverages shall be sold and/or consumed on the property during this event. And the hours for the outdoor festivities are restricted to 11 a.m. until 8:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Labadini, I will take a recommendation.
I recommend we allow this and vote in favor of it.
Ms. Kasabian Hoffman,
Yes, I recommend the approval of the one-day license for Monday through Sunday, December 24th, 2020 to March 1st, 2021, subject to the recommendations of both the health and police departments.
thank you. And I also agree. Thank you, Ms. Reed.
Thank you very much.
The next item is Moha Holdings, Inc., doing business as Milana Restaurant and Chulo Cuisine. Let me get that package.
Hello?
Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 and Chapter 140 of the General Laws as amended that Moha Holdings, Inc., doing business as Milano Restaurant, Chulo Cuisine and Bar, which is located at 5 Spring Street, Watertown, Massachusetts, is applying for a sale of food license and alteration of premises of its all alcohol common victualers license to make the first floor a market and have a restaurant upstairs. Description of premises, make the first floor a market. Hours of operation requested Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Hearing on this application will be held on Thursday, December 17, 2020 at 7:15 p.m. via Zoom. We are going there, actually, that is the advertised request for the second of the license applications that have been submitted. The first was for a change of DBA. We're going to treat the change of DBA separately from the request for a change of premises. They're two separate animals. For the change of DBA, Mr. Tehrani, well, first of all, please identify, will the applicant please identify himself for the record?
Good evening. My name is Mohsen Tehrani.
Mohsen Tehrani. Mr. Tehrani, would you tell us about the change in the DBA for your
Yeah,
company?
we want to change the DBA from Molana Restaurant and Cholo Cuisine to Molana Restaurant and Molana Market.
Okay. To Milano Market. Are there any changes in the officers and directors or the management of the company as a result of this change of DBA or involved with this DBA?
No, everything remained the same, nothing changes.
Okay. Mr. Labadini, do you have questions for Mr. Tarani on the question of the DBA?
I do not.
Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you have questions on the DBA?
I do not.
Okay. The recommendations that I have do not involve the DBA, since that is an administrative change. The recommendations that I have go to the second application. So I will take a recommendation, Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, on the issue of the DBA and the request for that.
Okay, I'll make a recommendation to approve the change of DBA from Moha Holdings, Inc., doing business as Milano Restaurant and Chulo Cuisine, to Moha Holdings, Inc., doing business as Milano Restaurant and Milano Market, 5 Spring Street, Watertown.
Thank you. Mr. Labadini?
I agree with those changes.
Okay, and I also agree. Now, the second question, and that is the change of premises. I have read the ad. Were abutter notifications sent out, Ms. Casello?
Yes, we received 8 out of 10.
Okay, so the abutter list are okay. Mr. Dineski, I have a dilemma here. There really isn't a way we can actually hear this because portions of the application are incomplete. Should we proceed as far as we can go, or simply decide at this point to continue until the applications are complete?
Are there portions that could be explained or filled in by the applicant, or is there an omission that you believe requires something that can't be achieved this evening?
The two omissions are that the health department is reporting that they cannot give approval because they do not have a complete plan review application. The police department's recommendation also is for denial because of an incomplete application. The fire department has a comment. Theirs is the only one that could be held in abeyance. The other two are material obstacles.
So I think the one that is most important is from the police department, and to the extent that issues can be addressed, it would be appropriate for the board to continue. That the health department would be a situation where this board's approval would be conditioned on whatever health department requirements need to be met. But with respect to the police, that goes directly to your approval. So if the board wants to hear from Sergeant Grady about any particulars, I think then probably the most efficient thing to do for both the board and the applicant is to continue.
Thank you. Sergeant Grady, as you heard from Mr. Dineski, unless this is something that can be simply resolved right now in terms of the application, it really is going to just waste time to go forward and do the full description. I noticed that the submission to the ABCC is missing a considerable amount of information as well. So I'm not even sure that the ABCC application is complete. But your recommendation indicated that for the police department, there isn't enough information at this time to make a decision. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Chair, and for the same reason that the information is missing from that ABCC document, for which, you know, the licensing board would be responsible for filing that, or Mr. Tarani would be responsible for filing that document. The significant information is left off that application, for which I usually I compare notes so that I can verify certain pieces of information, whether it be, you know, size, square footage, alcohol storage, number of seats, and there's considerable change to the restaurant configuration. It used to be 2 floors consisting of 2 kitchens, consisting of storage for alcohol in certain locations. The seating is obviously going to change because the numbers are changing. The layout of the actual restaurant itself is somewhat of a mystery. So for that reason, I can't make a recommendation at this point in time, and I'm happy to work with Mr. Tarani on trying to resolve this, but at this point in time, I couldn't make a recommendation to the chief.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tarani, under the circumstances, I think it would be prudent for us to continue this particular application to January 2021, giving you time to complete the various pieces that are missing in consultation with Sergeant Grady and in cooperation with the ABCC and the ABCC and the Commonwealth's electronic online application form, which I understand all of the pieces have to be filled out. So I am going to recommend, Julie, when is the January hearing?
January 21st.
January 21st. I recommend that we continue this hearing on the change of premises to January 21, 2021. Mr. Labadini?
I agree, Madam Chairwoman. This seems like a prudent thing to do at this point.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman?
I agree.
Okay. Mr. Tarani, I hope that we see you again next month with the completed application so that we can continue with this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Oakley Country Club, 410 Belmont Street. This is a request for a change of manager. Do we have a representative here from?
Yes, Madam Chair, Joseph Noon. I am legal chair on the
there
Oakley
you are.
Board of Directors.
Okay.
And I am here with Jack Bartley, who is president of the club, along with Marnie McAlpin, who is being designated as the license holder
Okay.
and the person who will be on the application.
Mhm.
Would you like me to go through Ms. McAlpin's background? Or?
Yes, that's.
Ms. McAlpine's been at Oakley Country Club for the last 3 years, serving in a capacity as director of membership. We've had a change in some of our leadership, whereby our house manager is no longer in the employ. Ms. McAlpine is currently in the process of interviewing for that position. In the meantime, we've designated her as our license holder. Ms. McAlpine has a 20+ year history in the food and service industry. She served as the assistant general manager at Hopkinton Country Club prior to her tenure at Oakley for 13 years at Hopkinton. Prior to that, she worked in the restaurant industry, where she served as a manager. She is tip certified, and while at Hopkinton Country Club, she was involved with the program whereby she taught the equivalent of the tips class to the Hopkinton employees. That program that she was involved with is called the Barcode Program. That was back in the early 2000 time period that she was familiar with that program. So Ms. McAlpine is more than qualified to act in this capacity. She is an excellent employee, diligent with her knowledge of the privilege of having an alcohol license, and is a very good representative for both the club, its membership, and those who are patrons of the club.
Thank you, Mr. Noon. I have a question about the changes here. This, correct me if I'm wrong. I've been here a while, so I may remember more changes and think of them as recent when they were longer ago. But it seems to me that we have approved the house manager, the manager for the alcohol licensing, and then we approved another general manager of the facility, and then another manager similar to Ms. McAlpine's position, and now we've got Ms. McAlpine. What's going on? Are you, you mentioned a change in administration or officers? Is this, I'd like to be satisfied that we're not dealing with a tumultuous situation in the administration and execution of the license.
No, that is far from the case.
Okay.
Our prior house manager, Abby Pingatori, was let go, and we are in the process of searching for a new house manager. There was a difference in philosophy as to how he was running the operation, and a decision was made to go in a different direction. Mm-hmm. So that is all that has changed.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you have any questions regarding this application of Ms. McAlpine or Mr. Noon?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Labadini?
No, so basically, Abby has moved on for new opportunities, and this is, that was pretty straightforward. I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Labadini, would you, I'm sorry, the police department recommendation, Sergeant Grady?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This department has investigated the applicant's request. Would have no objection to the change of manager, provided the following is stipulated on the license. The new manager, Marnie McAlpine, shall ensure that all bartenders and servers of alcohol attendants successfully complete an alcohol awareness training program, i.e. tips, immediately upon hire or expiration of certification. And copies of all alcohol certifications should be available upon request. And all other stipulations of the previously issued license shall remain the same.
Thank you. And as is normal with change of manager requests, the building, fire, health, and zoning departments do not have comments. Mr. Labadini, I will take a recommendation.
I recommend we approve the change in manager.
Thank you. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman?
I do the same, subject to the recommendation of the police department.
Thank you, and I agree. Thank you, gentlemen. Ms. McAlpine.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We have now Pequasit Airy, number 1928, Fraternal Order of Eagles, 44 to 46 Mount Auburn Street. Change of officers and directors. And I am going to dispense with and consider as referenced the numerous letters pertaining to this particular application status report, because we've heard it now for, what is it, 9 or 10 months? I'm tired of reading them. I'm pretty sure Mr. Leitner is tired of hearing them. And from the paper that has crossed my, well, not paper, it's the virtual paper that has been disseminated prior to this hearing, it seems to me that we actually have in hand all of the papers necessary for us to go forward with this action. Attorney Kenneth Leitner is here representing Pequasit Erie number 1928 Fraternal Order of Eagles. Is that correct, Mr. Leitner?
Madam Chair, yes, Ken Leitner representing the Eagles concerning the change of officers and directors.
Okay, this matter, as I noted, was continued. Its last continuance was from November 19, 2020. Mr. Leitner.
Yes, we have submitted the new officers. The president is Janine Stout. The treasurer is Macon Lima, D. Lima. Secretary is Timothy Eaton, as it's reflected in the records of the Secretary of State's office. The directors are Paul Donnelly, Dan Petrovich, and Jack Ouellette. They're all active members of the Eagles. They're there. They take a lot of pride in being members of the Eagles, and they'll be on hand to undertake all their responsibilities as the officers and managers of the entity.
Thank you. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Mr. Labadini, do you have questions?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. Leitner, my only question is, we're going to need the updated list within a few months. Shall we assume that these are the same people that will be available in 2021 to stand for the club?
Yeah, their term in office is through July of 2021. When everything, and we're planning on them going forward with the same officers unless there's a change.
Mm-hmm.
We are poised to file timely, as we did last year, but there were some glitches with the application. So you'll have everything on record in a timely manner so you can make the decision.
Okay.
And we did get the certificate of good standing in today, and I will,
Yes.
Ms. Costello.
Yes, we
Yes.
did receive all of these things. Yes. Thank you. Ms. Costello, I will just do a brief check with you and make sure that you have all of the information that you need. Is that correct?
Okay, will do.
You do have it?
No, I will wait for your check-in.
Okay. Sergeant Grady, the police recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This department has investigated the applicant's request and would have no objection to the change of officers and directors as proposed. All of the stipulations of the previously issued license shall remain the same.
Thank you. I recommend that we approve the change of officers and directors for Pequasit Erie number 1928 Fraternal Order of Eagles. And I reference the submitted names for the officers and directors from Attorney Leitner. And recommend that we approve those. Mr. Labadini?
I agree, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Kasabian Hoffman?
I also agree.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leitner.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is renewals. The renewals that are coming up for December 31st are 9 all alcohol common victualler 6-day licenses, 23 all alcohol common victualler 7-day licenses, 7 all alcohol package goods, 8 all alcohol club licenses, 89 common victualler licenses, For the wine and malt licenses, there are 7 common victular 7-day licenses of that type and 7 wine and malt packaged goods stores with licenses. We have 2 general on-premises all alcohol licenses up for renewal. 1 BYOB alcohol license, 1 in-holders license, 2 24-hour opening licenses, 3 sale of food at retail. For entertainment licenses, we have 10 6 days. We have 3 Sunday entertainments, and we have 3 automatic amusement devices. Class 1 auto dealers, 5 for renewal. Class 2 auto dealers, 13 for renewal. I'm going to treat the common victualler and the all alcohol common victualler licenses separately. For now, I am going to recommend that with the proper renewal fees in hand, and in a moment I will ask Ms. Casello and Sergeant Grady about their recommendations, but I am proposing that we approve the all alcohol club licenses, common victualler licenses, no, not the common victualler, all alcohol club licenses, all alcohol packaged goods, all of the wine and malt licenses, the 6-day, 7-day, and packaged goods, all of the general on-premises all alcohol licenses, and all of the following: BYOB, in-holders, 24-hour opening, sale of food at retail, entertainment license 6-day, Sunday entertainment license, automatic amusement device, music box, and class 1 and class 2 auto dealers. Of those categories, Ms. Casello, have you received any objections, complaints, or noted defects from any of the departments in the town of Watertown that would prevent automatic renewal of any of these?
I have not.
Sergeant Grady, do you know of any reason why the board cannot automatically renew the licenses I stipulated?
No, the police department has no objection.
Thank you. So I recommend that we approve the automatic renewal of all of those stipulated licenses. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Labadini, do you agree?
Yes, I do indeed.
Okay. We now come to the all alcohol common victualler 6-day and 7-day licenses, as well as the 89 common victualler licenses. Ms. Casello has provided us with a list of 5 all alcohol common victualler licenses that are currently closed. She has, but they have renewed, but they are not open.
Correct.
Okay, I'm a little confused about that because the next list you provided us is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, 4, 7
Yeah.
common victualers that are listed as closed, did not renew, and there are 3 of those which are repeated in the alcohol common victualler list above. Is that because you were addressing both licenses and treating them as separate?
Nope, because they do not have to renew their common vic. They have to renew their all alcohol in order to sell the licenses.
Thank you. It makes sense. Now for Condesa Watertown, this is a restaurant with an all alcohol common victualler license that is not open yet.
Correct, pending.
And it's because of the construction that is underway.
Correct.
This is a different situation from the other ones that are listed. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. For Condesa Watertown LLC doing business as Condesa Restaurant and Tequila Bar, I recommend that we approve the renewal, subject to a timely opening once construction is completed in 2021. And I recommend that we phrase the letter to the ABCC, or the forms that we fill out, with appropriate language indicating that they have not yet opened but are expected to in the first quarter of 2021. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you agree with that recommendation?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Mr. Labadini, do you agree?
I do agree with
Okay.
that recommendation.
The others that we have, which have alcohol licenses, they are closed, but they have, they are seeking to renew. Talk of the Town, 1 Inc., doing business as The Talk. La Casa de Pedro Inc., doing business as La Casa de Pedro. Mount Auburn Club Restaurant Inc., doing business as Cafe on the Charles. And Miller's Ale House, doing business as Miller's Ale House. I am not certain of the situation with the Mount Auburn Club Restaurant or La Casa de Pedro. I know that La Casa de Pedro is desirous of reopening, but has issues with various court cases that are involved. He has submitted the renewal, is that correct?
The bank that owns the license has submitted the renewal.
The bank that owns the license has submitted the renewal. Mr. Dineski.
Well, I should say lawyer.
Is that kosher?
For all of these, Madam Chair, under the circumstances, whether they be on account of pending legal matters for the licensee or premises that are not open on account of the pandemic, I would recommend that the board do renew, but if there's any time conditions regarding submission of an application for transfer or other status that the board wants to see, as has been done in prior years with similar situations, that the board so specify.
Okay, so we know the Talk of the Town is trying to transfer its license. We know that Miller's Ale House is trying to transfer its license. Do we know that about La Casa de Pedro? Do we know that about Mount Auburn Club Restaurant?
I know that about Mount Auburn Club. They're in the process.
Okay. And the sticky one is La Casa de Pedro because
Correct.
there's argument as to who controls the license, basically.
Correct.
All right. Under the circumstances, I recommend that we approve the renewal of Talk of the Town 1 Inc., doing business as The Talk, Mount Auburn Club Restaurant Inc., doing business as Cafe on the Charles, La Casa de Pedro Inc., doing business as La Casa de Pedro, and Miller's Ale House Inc., doing business as Miller's Ale House, under condition that a suitable transfer shall occur during the first quarter of 2021. So the deadline on that would be by March 31st, 2021. And to further explain myself on that issue, Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman and Mr. Labadini and Sergeant Mr. Dineski, my idea is that we're granting the renewal. You've got 3 months to identify and send to the board a transfer application identifying a new holder of this license. if you do not do it within that time frame, then I would expect that we would have a status hearing, or even a show cause hearing. I believe a status hearing should come first, however, in April, to see if any action has transpired on attempted transfers of these licenses, so that we're not sitting around just assuming that they're making attempts. And also being cognizant of the fact that this is a longer time period than we often give people for these types of transfers, but taking into account the uncertainties caused by the pandemic. So that's the reasoning behind my proposing the renewal with a time frame of expecting transfer applications to have been submitted by March 31st, 2021. Any discussion?
So no matter whether or not any of these licenses are involved in some kind of legal issue, we're just gonna assume that all of these license holders are looking to transfer, and we'll give them the 3 months to do that, or 4 months, or whatever it is from now.
Well, other than La Casa de Pedro, we know that the others are actively seeking. And in fact, we have a transfer application in hand for January involving one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine till March, end of March.
You know, you can propose a different time frame or something like
Well,
that.
that's fine. That's
Okay. Mr. Labadini.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that based on all the contingencies, and, you know, they have till the end of the first quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Then I make that as a formal recommendation. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you agree?
yes.
Mr. Labadini, do you agree?
I agree, yes.
Okay. So we have approved the renewal of Condesa Watertown. We have approved with conditions the renewal of Talk of the Town, One Inc., Mount Auburn Restaurant, La Casa de Pedro, and Miller's Ale House. In addition to those approvals, I recommend that we approve the automatic renewal of the remaining all alcohol common victular 6-day and 7-day licenses, as well as the all alcohol common victular licenses. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you agree? Oh,
Yes.
wait,
Oh.
first, Ms. Casello and Sergeant Grady, do you know of any reasons why any of those licensees, any problems they have with town departments, unpaid fees, whatever, that would prevent the automatic renewal? Ms. Casello?
I do not.
Mr. Sergeant Grady?
Please have no objection.
Thank you. So, Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, do you agree?
Yes.
Mr. Labadini, do you agree?
I do, I agree.
Okay. Common victulars. Miller's Ale House, Inc., Mount Auburn Club Restaurant, Inc., Pepper Jack Sandwich Shops, Inc., doing business as Matilda's, Talk of the Town, One, Inc., Unidyne Corporation, Guckenheimer Enterprises, Inc., apparently operating as the Athena Health Nourish Cafe, and Chef Louise, Inc. These 7 common victular licensees have not requested renewal. With the exception of those, I recommend that we approve the automatic renewal of the remaining common victular licenses for 2021. Discussion or agreement for the recommendation? Mr. Labadini.
I recommend approval.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman.
I agree.
Ms. Casello, Sergeant Grady, do you know of any reasons why any of those others would not be able to be automatically renewed?
I do not.
The police department does not object.
Okay. So we're in agreement. Those are all automatically renewed. Did I cover every license that needs renewal?
I believe so.
I hope so.
Mhm.
So next item on the agenda. Well, first, let's say welcome to Mr. Sakrikas. How am I pronouncing it?
It's pronounced Sakrikas, yes.
Sakrikas. Okay, I'll get it right. Mr. Labadini, Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, I don't know if you're aware of the fiasco attendant upon Mr. Sakrikas's appointment to the board. If you recall, only 2 or 3 months ago, I was lamenting the fact that we had not received notification. We had, of course, been told that someone was being interviewed, but the next step was the town council meeting, and that was the start of the pandemic. There was an approval, and the email notifying us did not reach me and did not reach Julie. So we just assumed nothing had happened. Even though Mr. Labadini came on board, we thought nothing was happening. Mr. Sakrikas, fortunately, asked, what happened? Wasn't I appointed? And we managed to connect, and he's here now. He's our alternate. He will be observing for a few months, and when he feels comfortable, then we will proceed the same way we have done with other alternates. After a few months of observing, he will begin participating in the questioning of the on the applications as he wishes, and giving us the benefit of his knowledge and awareness and perceptions. He will not vote unless one of us is, for reasons of absence or conflict of interest, unable to vote, but he will participate, and he will be at the ready for the days when we end up without all 3 of us here for the hearings. So,
Welcome.
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 Thank you very much. I look forward to serving this board and the town of Watertown. Thank you.
Thanks. So the last item on the agenda, comments by the board clerk and police department. Sergeant Grady, anything we should know about or hear about?
Not at this time, just happy holidays.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Casello,
I have nothing.
nothing. Well, that's nice. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. I don't know. It's no spring festival, so I can't say happy that, but have a nice December.
And a Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year. That's right. Everybody does New Year. You can say Happy New. Oh, the Chinese have a different date. Oh, well.
See you next year.
See you next year. There you go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.